I'm the founder of Chainnodes. We are a centralized RPC provider. We are also collaborating with ETHFi, that's a liquid staking protocol, on building a decentralized RPC solution based on restaking. The idea of crypto is decentralization, and I think most in the space agree on that. There's just a fine line between what is feasible for the everyday user and what the decentralization aspect actually brings you. There was this time a couple of years ago when RPCs were not really a thing yet. There were wallets and they were directly connected to their own nodes, but that's it. Back in the days, there were no centralized RPC providers. There was like Infura, but it was free and everyone else just spin up their own nodes and use their own nodes, and that's it. Like, this is the traditional use case of crypto and of the blockchain in general. Just you run your own node and you do the stuff you want on this node. But then obviously, like always in the world, people like us, Chainnodes and Infura and Alchemy and so on, they started building infrastructure that's significantly better based of latency and block uptime and all the metrics that you need as a project. Those centralized providers of RPCs, they started selling to the big projects, and now everyone uses centralized RPCs. The idea is just you have the uptime, you have the reliability, you don't have to host your own infrastructure, just like in the Web 2 world. With decentralized RPCs, again, we want to go one step back and say, okay, what is the real value of crypto? And what happens if someone decides that certain things should not be interacted with? If you use Infura today, for example, and you want to use Tornado Cash, your transaction won't go through. It's just blocked. The thing crypto was built for, neutrality and not having political parties or countries decide upon what is good and what is bad. You can just achieve that with decentralization, and RPCs are a central aspect of that. So to answer your question, I think decentralized RPCs are necessary because it's really difficult for individuals and everyday users to run their own nodes. That's just impossible. But at the same time, certain things are just possible, like in certain countries, for example, when you use the internet, you cannot access most of the pages just because it's censored. And the same is true in crypto, will probably be true eventually in crypto. But if you have this decentralization aspect where you can access several different nodes and some block certain transactions, others don't, then it's all good. But if you have just like 5 centralized providers and all of them are based in the US or whatever, there's an issue because it will be very much censored. To circumvent this, I think decentralized RPCs are necessary for everyday users. I think there's a difference with RPCs though, because it's not as high stake as having your own keys. Because having your own keys means you are governing your money. Having your own RPC just means you can send transactions whenever you want, and you can access the latest chain data whenever you want. But the thing is, as I said, it's not high stake. Nothing happens if they block you. Like if Infura blocks your Tornado Cash transactions, you just try again with a different RPC provider. I mean, that's just a fact. Or if really everything fails, if literally every RPC provider in the world blocks Tornado Cash transactions, then you can spin up your own and it still works. Like, it will take a couple of days, but you won't lose anything other than time. So the only thing that RPC providers can really do is they can either provide you with wrong data when you request data from the chain, or they can decide to not propagate your transaction. And both of those things are crucial for certain projects. Like, you won't lose any money, at least not immediately, just because of this. So you can always decide, okay, the world is now gone full crazy, so now it's time to host my own node. That's the good thing about it. So it's not black and white with the keys. If you actually have your money on the centralized exchange, something goes wrong, your money is gone. With the RPCs, something goes wrong, then you decide to spin up your own node. So this is the difference. Like with the decentralized RPCs, projects, not individual customers, but projects, DeFi projects like Uniswap or so on, they can provide their users with more guarantee that the data they show on their websites is actually accurate. And I think this is really important as well, because if you go to Uniswap and it shows 1 ETH is worth $100, you would probably immediately try to buy 100 ETH or whatever. But then it wouldn't work, or maybe it would work, but it would cost you much more than intended and so on. So this wrong data, which again, it doesn't make huge sense, and this example might not be the best, but there might be cases where wrong data is provided and people might end up losing money because of that, because the RPCs are not decentralized and the data accuracy is not verified and so on. So it's still necessary to go in the right direction, making sure that data is actually accurate and data comes from different sources and can be validated. It's not like with the keys, you won't immediately lose money and it's not black and white. You can still use centralized RPC providers, and if something happens and if you see that now is the right time, you can also spin it up.